Fake HOA. Cops arrested my wife, but found out she's the police chief. What in the world is going on here? Fake police officers arresting people in their own homes? It's like something out of a bad movie, but it's real. It happened to me, and it could happen to you too. Welcome to our story, a tale of deception, authority, and the fight for justice. My wife, the police chief, and I have faced numerous challenges in our careers, but nothing could have prepared us for the day fake HOA cops showed up at our doorstep. It started with small disturbances in our neighborhood. Karen, the self-proclaimed leader of our HOA, had been using her position to intimidate and bully residents. She would send these fake officers to issue fines and threats, claiming they had the authority to enforce HOA rules. Can you believe it? They were like a gang, terrorizing people with fake badges and plastic handcuffs. But what they didn't know was that they were about to cross paths with the real deal, the police chief herself. In this documentary, we'll explore how we navigated this absurd situation, exposing the truth behind these imposters and the corrupt system that enabled them. It's a story of courage, resilience, and the power of standing up against injustice. We'll take you behind the scenes, showing you the real-life drama that unfolded and how we fought back against these fake authority figures. Before I continue, tell me where you're watching from in the comments section, and don't forget to like, comment, and hit the subscribe button for more of these gripping stories. Have you ever faced a situation where authority figures abused their power? Share your stories in the comments below. Let me tell you, my wife and I have dedicated our lives to serving our community. She's a respected police chief, known for her fairness and integrity. I've always been her rock, supporting her through the highs and lows of her career. We've faced tough situations before, but nothing could have prepared us for what was about to happen. We live in a quiet suburban neighborhood where everyone knows each other. It's a place where you'd least expect trouble, especially from those who claim to be part of the community. But behind the scenes, something was amiss. Karen, the self-proclaimed leader of our HOA, had been using her position to intimidate and bully residents. She would send these fake officers to issue fines and threats, claiming they had the authority to enforce HOA rules. My wife has always been a pillar of strength in our community, respected by everyone. She's the kind of person who always puts others before herself, and her integrity is beyond question. Our neighborhood is the kind of place where kids play in the streets, and neighbors become like family. It's a place where you feel safe, where you can leave your doors unlocked without worrying. But Karen and her crew were slowly changing that. They were creating an atmosphere of fear and intimidation where people were too scared to speak up against them. Karen was a master manipulator. She had a way of making people believe she was doing the right thing, even when she was clearly abusing her power. She would use her position to get what she wanted, whether it was fining someone for a minor infraction or forcing them to comply with her arbitrary rules. And she had a network of fake officers who would do her bidding, no questions asked. One morning, these fake officers showed up at our house, attempting to arrest my wife for violating HOA rules, but they didn't know who they were dealing with. My wife, being the police chief, wasn't going to let them get away with it. It was a surreal moment, watching these fake officers try to arrest the real police chief, but it was also a wake-up call. We realized that we had to take action, not just for ourselves, but for our entire community. We couldn't let Karen and her crew continue to terrorize our neighbors and friends. How would you react if faced with a similar situation? Would you stand your ground or comply? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Have you ever dealt with someone like Karen who thinks they're above the law? Let's hear your stories. On that fateful morning, the fake officers arrived in a black SUV, flashing fake badges and demanding my wife come with them. It was like something out of a movie, but this was real life. They were aggressive, shouting orders and trying to intimidate her. But she wasn't going anywhere. She calmly pulled out her real badge and revealed her true identity as the police chief. The look on their faces was priceless. It was like they had been caught red-handed. I mean, can you imagine? These guys thought they were above the law, but they were about to find out that they were in way over their heads. My wife handled the situation with professionalism and poise, but I could see the fire in her eyes. She was not going to let them bully her or our community. The fake officers were stunned. They didn't know what to do. They kept trying to assert their authority, but it was clear they were imposters. My wife, on the other hand, was calm and collected. She called the real police, and soon, the imposters were the ones facing arrest. It was a surreal moment, watching these fake officers being handcuffed and taken away. I watched in awe as she handled the situation with professionalism and poise. She was like a rock, unshakable and strong. I was proud of her, not just as her husband, but as a member of this community. She showed us all that we don't have to be afraid of bullies, like Karen and her crew. As the news spread, the community rallied behind us. People were outraged by what had happened, and they demanded justice. It turned out Karen had been using these fake officers to intimidate and extort money from homeowners. The investigation that followed exposed a web of corruption and deceit that went all the way to the top of the HOA. The community was shocked and angry. They couldn't believe that someone they trusted had been abusing their power in such a way. But they were also relieved that the truth had finally come to light. They began to share their own stories of harassment and intimidation by Karen and her crew. It was like a dam had burst, and suddenly, everyone was speaking out against them. It was a turning point for our community. We realized that we didn't have to live in fear of these fake authority figures. We could stand up for ourselves and demand justice. And that's exactly what we did. We worked with the real police to gather evidence and build a case against Karen and her accomplices. What do you think drives individuals like Karen to abuse their power? Is it greed, a desire for control, or something else entirely? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Have you ever dealt with someone who thought they were above the law? Let's hear your stories. The fallout was immediate. Karen and her accomplices were arrested, and the HOA was dismantled. Homeowners were refunded their money, and a new, honest leadership took over. It was a moment of relief for our community, knowing that the reign of terror was finally over. People began to feel safe again, knowing that they could trust their leaders to act with integrity. The new HOA leadership was a breath of fresh air. They were transparent, fair, and genuinely interested in serving the community. They worked tirelessly to rebuild trust and ensure that such abuses of power would never happen again. It was a new beginning for our neighborhood, a chance to start anew and create a better future for everyone. This experience taught us that even in the face of adversity, standing up for what's right can lead to real change. It's a reminder that justice can prevail when we fight for it. My wife and I learned that, sometimes, it takes courage to challenge the status quo, but it's always worth it in the end. As I look back on those events, I realized that it wasn't just about us. It was about creating a safer, more just community for everyone. We didn't just fight for ourselves. We fought for our neighbors, our friends, and our children. We wanted to ensure that they could grow up in a place where they felt safe and protected. In the end, it was a victory not just for us, but for the entire community. It showed us that when we stand together and demand justice, we can achieve great things. It's a lesson that I hope will stay with us for years to come, a reminder of the power of unity and determination. How can we ensure that our communities remain safe from corruption and abuse of power? Is it through increased transparency, stronger laws, or community engagement? Share your ideas in the comments below. What steps can we take to prevent similar situations from happening in the future? If you've been inspired by our story, share it with others. Together, we can create a movement for justice and accountability. We can make a difference by standing up against corruption and abuse of power. Whether it's in your neighborhood, your workplace, or your community, remember that your voice matters. Share this story with your friends and family, and let's spread the message of courage and resilience. As I look back on our journey, I'm reminded of the power of community and the impact one person can have. My wife, the police chief, showed us all that even in the face of adversity, we can make a difference. She stood up for what was right, and in doing so, inspired countless others to do the same. Remember, real power comes not from fake badges, but from standing up for what's right. Never underestimate the impact one person can have. Whether you're a leader or just a concerned citizen, your actions can spark change. Don't be afraid to challenge the status quo or speak out against injustice. Together, we can create a better world for everyone. So what will you do today to make a difference? Will you share this story, volunteer in your community, or stand up for someone who needs your support? Whatever it is, know that you have the power to create positive change. Let's do this together. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, and hit the subscribe button for more inspiring stories. Let's keep the conversation going in the comments below.